What's up, dudes and dudes of the internet? My name is Scythe, and we are back again for another Trove tutorial video, because today we're going to be doing what I should have done a long time ago. I've seen all the comments and stuff. I know that a lot of you are asking me, not necessarily about going into the Sky Portal and explaining all of that, but asking about Flux. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can end up actually grinding your Flux up, but most of all, we're going to be talking about the Sky Portal today, because the Sky Portal, I feel, is very, very relevant to that. And before we get started, would very much appreciate if you would hit that like button. It would help me out so very, very much. So, first of all, the idea of getting Flux is actually very easy on console right now. And while this does actually apply to the PC version, it especially applies to the Xbox version, because there's nothing in rotation right now. Like, everything is so new and so fresh that everybody is paying out the door for any type of resource, right? So what you essentially end up doing is just grind any resource that you are sitting there and think is like really annoying or tough to get or anything like that, and people are going to pay for it. Hearts of Darkness, for example, are going for like 20,000 each, but that's something that's inconsistent. You can't technically end up grinding it. And also, incidentally, I'm just showing you casually in the background how you actually fight the Radiant Giants right here. So anytime you see them do their sword attack like that, you just gotta jump in the air and dodge it, because their normal attacks are very, very weak, but their heavy attacks usually will end up one-shotting. And these guys are gonna end up dropping all sorts of crazy stuff. Whoops-a-daisy, I got a bunch of garbage in my inventory. Let me get rid of that, because we actually got very lucky right here. Don't bomb me, you freak. I'm doing stuff. And they end up dropping a couple Radiant Shards, which, where are they? Right down here. There they are, Radiant Shard. These you end up using just for a bunch of different crafting and stuff like that, most of all to do with the Runecrafting, which I'll kind of show you that it's one of the, well, it's the last profession that we haven't actually talked about. I'll explain that in due time, but otherwise I wanted to show you these suckers right here. Now this Radiant Shard farming and cloud farming right here, stupid inventory is all full. Dude, come on game, hurry up. There you go. Yeah, I needed to destroy it. So the Crystallized Clouds right here, which are one of the toughest ores in the game, like they take so long to laser, right? These puppies are gonna sell for quite a lot. Same with the Radiant Shards. Radiant Shards, honestly speaking, I would say are a lot easier to grind. But one thing that no new player, I mean, a couple players of course know about it, but very rarely, is that while you're actually mining these resources, you can very, very rarely end up getting the Nimble Nimbus Mount. And if you're sitting there thinking, Nimbus, that sounds like it's from Dragon Ball Z. It is. It's the same Nimbus that Goku rides. Like, it's pretty much a cloud, right? So these are going to be Radiant Shard dungeons. These are one of the only dungeons in the game that are actually like different than just your normal standard grinding. These are kind of like a mini game where you have like a set amount of time to destroy as many of these boxes as you can. And these are all, of course, giving you Radiant Shards, right? So this is where, if you're Radiant Shard farming, you just keep grinding these until Kingdom Come. And like I said, because everything is like a rare resource, you're gonna be very, like, these are gonna sell for a lot because of the Runecrafting Profession. Because out of all the professions, I would say that ring crafting is definitely like the top, you know, like the cat's pajamas. You need ring crafting like 110%. But Runecrafting is a very close second out of a requirement. Uh-oh, I might not be able to get out of here. If you don't have enough jump, I guess you would just be dead, right? But Runecrafting is very, very useful because it gets you access to the tomes, right? Let's actually mine this right here. And also, I do want to mention, too, that those Sky Giants that we ended up killing, they actually drop Radiant weapon styles. So if you're sitting there and you're trying to actually, like, farm for mastery, you're going to have to kill enough of them that you actually unlock all of the different Radiant styles. And then also there's another way that you can end up just kind of cheating your way to getting all of the styles through Runecrafting. It's not cheating because it's technically like a part of the game and on purpose, but I'm just gonna mine these up and then I'll see you back in the club. This is where having a boomeranger is extremely useful, because then you just dig yourself straight down into the ground, place down your big bomb, and there you go. Now, one thing I want to clear up as well, because I actually get this question a lot, is does bombing those cloud shards end up decreasing the odds of actually getting the mount as a drop? And no, it most certainly does not. So where's our runecrafting? Where's our runecrafting bench? We do have one, right? Yeah, here it is right over here. So when you go into the runecrafting profession, it's going to be the same as any profession. But if you're just tuning into this video, pretty much you're going to have to craft 50 things within the noob runecrafting, and that's going to end up giving you a point. As you can see, we have skill 0. So we get up to 50 points, and then we can end up going into the dabbler. Now, you can't continuously level up by using newbie items. You're going to have to make 50 items in the dabbler category, which means a lot more resources down the toilet. And then the enthusiast, you're going to have to do 50. 50 from inscriber, 50 from rune carver, all the way to 250 points for the runic master. And runecrafting in general is actually one of the hardest professions in the game because it requires blank scrolls. So you know when you go into dungeons and you start like just a recipe dungeon, right? The way that you actually get a blank scroll is you come over into a loot collector and then you just loot collect the scroll, and then there you go, you end up actually getting like just a blank scroll, right? I'll explain that radiant cash chest that we got from the sky giant in a moment here, because I think that this is a little bit more important. So what these items are going to do, standard block recipe, that's going to actually give you a bunch of different block colors and stuff like that. So if you're a builder, it's essential, right? Then when you go into dabbler, you're going to get glass blocks and metallic blocks. Metallic blocks are just shinier blocks, right? Then there's going to be the glowing blocks, and these are actually if any of you are actually like a YouTuber out there, I would say to go for the you can actually use the glowing green or blue blocks very effectively as a green screen. So you can actually like have your character standing on the glowing green blocks in the background, and you can just use that as a screenshot to actually crop out any image you want. That's why I end up doing NPC, right? And then this is where things get interesting, but very expensive as far as the resources are concerned, is the hat vault style is going to unlock any type of hat style that you don't already have. Same with the mask one. So you can eventually, like once you get to the end game as far as the styles are concerned, you're going to be sitting there and you're never going to be able to find certain styles. They're just not going to show up, whether they're ones that you're missing in the novice world or whether they're ones that you just never are going to end up getting that are in another category, right? So that's where these end up kind of alleviating that, and you can use these to kind of give yourself more of the different styles. So we got pistol, staff, bow, and all the different weapons and stuff, right? And then finally, once you get to the last tier, not only do you have a mount that you can craft, it's pretty much a floating recipe that you actually ride on, but you're gonna need a magic carpet mount. And the way that you get the magic carpet mount, I'm pretty sure is from the Shadowy Merchant. Yeah, okay, it's right here for 3 Hearts of Darkness, which you can rarely get out of the Shadow Cache. I just wanted to double check that, because once upon a time, the old way that you would have to grind that is it would just randomly drop out of the dungeon chest from completing the Shadow Towers, right? But as I was saying, the tomes themselves, that's where you're gonna end up getting the bulk of what you need. Like, these can actually be insane money makers. While certain tomes are obviously going to end up being better, and I would honestly say before you end up just randomly willy-nilly grabbing one of these tomes at random, I would say to actually look at the items that you're actually getting out of it and compare the price on the market, because the unfortunate truth about all these tomes is that they are actually very badly balanced. So 15 robot salvage is actually pretty darn good. I would also actually recommend the one that gives you 25 infinium, because you're gonna constantly be getting like the infinium out of that, right? Which is gonna end up adding up very, very quickly. And then the transit portals, these are going to end up being essential to any big club world. So we've actually got a couple of them upstairs. Some freak is already in the master runecrafter, but the way that these work is you just activate them and they're going to teleport you to the corresponding portal. Now, it doesn't stop there. You can actually chain them together. So if we would have a third green portal, we would go through this one, and then we would be at that third portal, but it seems like we only have 2 of them. Now, an interesting thing that you can do, which I've actually built on the PC version of Trove, is you can actually create a sort of portal hub, where the way that these portals are going to work is they're always going to be in linear order as to how you place them down. So what you can end up doing is having this portal go over to this destination, and then you have the third portal in the chain let's say that it warps back here, but you have it on the ceiling, right? So that your character goes through the portal, falls down, and then technically speaking, you're right back where you started. So you can actually use that very effectively to have portals to very efficiently like get through the club and everything like that, right? Now, before I forget, these radiant caches right here are a very rare drop from the Sky Giants. You can end up using a cache shop golden key on these, I think, or maybe you can't. It shows the icon, but I don't know if it means that you can anymore. I don't know. They keep changing it. But needless to say, you can very rarely end up getting a radiant steed out of it. So that is also going to be the rare drop, which is it's a pretty cool mount, honestly speaking. I've seen a couple people with it on console, which is pretty crazy. And in general, if you want to just farm Sky Giants, you know, that's a pretty effective way of making Flux as well. Now, for a couple other things, you know, like I kind of said, it's just a general idea is there's a Radiant Steed right over here, the one that Ollie's on. Generally, you just farm for the resources that you see people want. You know, for rune crafting, people are going to be wanting a lot of the shards. They're very easy to farm. Same with recipe dungeons and stuff like that. People are always going to need those, so you can continuously sell them. Same with ores and stuff like that, but ores in general are going to be a little bit rarer. Like finding infinium is actually going to be a lot harder to farm than it is to just farm cloud shards, because you saw how like they're all over the place, right? They're just annoying to actually mine unless you have the boomeranger, right? Or if you're one of those crazy people that actually goes hardcore into the profession, a lot of these items in here actually sell for a whole lot, especially the tomes, because nobody's really got them right now. So you gotta kind of take advantage of that. And generally speaking too, like all the different ores and resources and stuff like that, even on the PC version, you know, that's a pretty good way of making money at the beginning of the game. And then eventually it would turn into selling gear and selling drops like shadow souls and stuff like that. But eventually on the PC version, we ended up kind of moving away from that because the souls ended up getting more and more common as more and more people at the end game had more and more magic find, right? As opposed to the console version, it's going to take a very long time outside of some pay to win monster out there for any of us to end up getting all of the dragons and actually getting max magic find. So for the time being, getting a radiant drop or getting a stellar drop is almost out of the question. Like if anybody actually gets that, that's really, really exciting and really, really new, right? But anyway, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Hope you found this video helpful and answered a lot of your questions. If you do have any more questions, though, you can always leave them in the comments below. Either I or somebody else will end up answering them. We got a really, really killer community, I just want to say. And I wanted to say thank you all so much for the support that you've given me throughout the years, and anybody new coming in that's supporting all the videos and everything like that. So, as always, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. Sign on, stay epic, everybody.